Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. You know, as I've gotten older, I've learned to change my focus. I used to go through life as a young man rather with like tunnel vision, with blinders on. As if I was looking through life through a tube with a very narrow focus. And I would focus in on stuff and put all my attention there. And then I would focus on something else if that didn't work out and put all my attention there. And I could just keep doing this. As I've gotten older, I've learned to kind of change my focus, to have a broad view, a broad spectrum view. I've learned to slow down a little bit with my action. Now I still have explosive forward movement, like the hunter, like the lion who's just waiting, because lions they're big animals. And I've been to Africa on safari, and they only have a certain amount of endurance. So they have to wait for that animal to get to a certain distance before they spring. Because they can't chase a fucking antelope for several miles. They need to get that motherfucker in a few yards. And then they'll be gassed out, they'll be tired. And I realized that about myself, that I'm stronger now than I've ever been. And I have more powerful forward movement, more explosive movement than I've ever had, whether it's in the gym or just intellectually. And I can laser focus in on a goal when I've identified something that I want to accomplish. But I'm no longer going through life, walking around looking at everything in such a narrow view. I think it has a lot to do with just slowing down my thought process. When I was younger, my mind raced more. I didn't have control over my mind. As I've gotten older, through a mind, body, and soul daily discipline, I practice this every single day. I've learned to control my thoughts, to control my mind. I can clear my thoughts like you wipe off a chalkboard. Or like when you go bowling and that arm comes out and wipes the pins away, I can clear my thoughts. And I could never do that before. And I can exist in a realm of thoughtlessness, waiting to spring, waiting to leap, rather than uselessly expending energy. And that's what I used to do when I was younger. I would expend so much mental and physical energy on useless directions that had no real meaning or purpose or outcome in my life. I would turn around and be lost in some weeds somewhere, just like, well, how did I get here? What am I even doing here? What was I thinking? And spend a lot of time suffering with this feeling that life is about one step forward and two steps back. I noticed that when I turned about 30 years old, I'd look back on my life and I had done so many things. I had so many adventures and possible career paths and relationships and travels, but I still wasn't really any further in life. When you go through all that, you want to be further. Those types of experiences should make you into something, and it didn't make me into anything. And I wondered why. Why am I going nowhere? I'd easily give up this exciting life for just a little bit of fucking progress. It's like I see people that go through such drama every day, every week. I know certain people that just, whenever I talk to them, oh my God, the stories they tell me. And I'm like, oh my God. Because the last time I talked to you, I had something else, and now it's something new, and it's always like just this crazy shit. I think people create that for themselves. You create the drama for yourself. I used to. And I would kind of notice this about myself every once in a while. When I would hear myself talk, I would call my mother. I've never really lived as an adult. I've never lived near my mother. We've always lived 1,000 or 3,000 miles apart from each other. But we have a close relationship nonetheless, and I always call her. Especially after my dad got murdered. I felt like I had to call my mom all the time. And she'd give me the same questions. How you doing, son? And I would go through my stories, what's going on in my life, and it would be the craziest shit. And she would laugh because she lives a very boring life. And I would realize, fleetingly though, the realization would fade, but I would realize that I'm doing this to myself. I create this crazy life for myself for some weird reason. Is it a form of self-destructive punishment that I'm not really quite aware of, some kind of hidden psychological trick that I'm playing on myself to constantly be scatterbrained, constantly be overwhelmed, constantly feel like I'm losing at this game of life, losing at survival, to never really understand what direction to go in, to put my energy in. I have so much energy, I don't even know what direction to put it in. Am I destined to do that forever? You know, I liken it to this analogy where if you've ever been hiking out in the woods, I've spent a lot of time in the woods. My experience in the woods is in West Virginia, mostly. Southern Virginia and West Virginia. And there you get a lot of steep hills. They call them mountains, but if you're from Colorado or West Virginia, mountains are really just hills. And you have these valleys, you know, so you have hills and valleys. And when you're backpacking, and maybe you go off the trail, which sometimes it's fun to do, find a really cool spot. Down in the valley, it can be tough to navigate. You can get lost really easily. The sticks are everywhere, there's not a lot of good visibility, and you can get turned around, and when you get lost, your heart starts racing, you get nervous, you get this desperate desire to get back on track. I gotta get back on track. I gotta find the path. And that just makes things worse. And the only way to find your way, to find that path, to stop being lost, to stop having those sticks hit you, is to climb that hill. The reason why you do it, or maybe climb a tree, you have to get a different outlook. You have to change your outlook. You have to change that focus from a narrow focus of being lost in those sticks to a higher focus, to be able to see out over the land. Half the time you realize, most of the time you realize, whoa, the path is right there, town is right there. I've been wandering around for the last 4 hours in that triangle right there. Fucking hey, I feel so stupid. I heard a funny story about a friend of mine. She went down to, I believe it was Peru. No, sorry, it was Mexico. And they have like pyramids and Mayan shit down there. And she wandered away from the hotel. It was kind of evening time. And she got lost. It got dark and she got lost. Florida's like that. You go out in the woods in Florida, when it's daytime, you can barely see. If it's nighttime, you take one step into those woods and turn around and you're now lost. That's all it takes. And that happened to her. She just got lost. And she wandered around, panic. She could hear fucking jaguars and animals and stuff going off, and she's in the fucking jungle scared to death, and she climbs this it's like a Mayan pyramid. Spent the night on top of it, scared to death, listening to the sounds of the jungle. Lost. She doesn't know what she's going to do. She's fucked. She probably cried half the night. Wondered if I'll ever see my dog again. I wonder if I'll ever see my boyfriend again. I wonder if I'll ever see any of my family. I mean, fuck, what am I going to do? How did I get myself into this? So she slept the whole night up there, quite an experience, sleep on top of a pyramid. Woke up the next morning, the crack of dawn. Hotel's right there. I mean, right there. She was not lost. She was in sight of the hotel. She's just confused. But she quickly found her way, being able to find that higher ground, being able to change her outlook. In life, we need to be able to change our outlook. It's a lot more powerful way to navigate. It sucks being lost. And we have the realm of the experiencer and the realm of the observer. Those are the two realms that you can choose to be in. And the realm of the experiencer may be thrilling. It may have a lot of drama. But it's a short-sighted, narrow-focused realm, which is easy to get lost in and overwhelmed by. Being in the realm of the experiencer for long is certain doom for most. So the good survivalist always has that higher ground. The good warrior always gains that higher ground. And that's where the realm of the observer is on that higher ground. It's all just food for thought. Thanks for watching.